Hello, I'm Bill LuMaye, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Finding out that your child has cancer is something no one can be prepared for. But as these children and their families take the next steps, they don't have to feel alone. Riley's Army is with us to discuss how they provide support to children with cancer and their families, and welcome both of you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start with first getting to know you a little bit. Who wants to go first? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I can go ahead. I'm Ella. I am a board member for the Raleigh chapter, and I am Riley's sister.
And Elizabeth.
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm the vice president. And Riley and I went to preschool together and played soccer together.
Well, cancer is one of those scary words, and especially when it is something in the same sentence with a child, it's probably one of the parents' worst nightmares. So let's talk a little bit about that. And Riley, who she was, what kind of person she was, and tell us a little bit about the story.
Well, first off, Riley was the most amazing person ever. She still is. She was diagnosed when she was 5 with a Wilms tumor in her right kidney. It later grew to her lungs. I was about 2 when she was diagnosed, so most of her life I knew her living with cancer, but she never let it affect her. Like, really. She was strong, resilient, goofy, like a typical child, and the most amazing older sister. So she, after 5 years of battling, she passed away, but she's still an inspiration through everything that she's done in this organization. So,
I'm always amazed by kids and what they're capable of. Now, Elizabeth, you were Riley's friend, so you had a chance. You were pretty young back then, but what was it like going through that with her?
Right. When Riley's Army kind of started with the meal train, I got to spend Tuesday nights with her in the hospital. So we always brought pizza with light sauce. That was always Riley's request. And we just got to play together in the pediatric playroom. I got to just spend the night with her. It allowed her parents to go home and be with the rest of their children. I didn't really realize until I was an adult how Riley handled it. Just like Ella said, she was just kind of wise beyond what you would expect somebody at 6 or 7 to be.
I would like to ask you about your parents, Ella. I mean, what was it like for them going through this? Because this is not a visit to the doctor. This is pretty long-term care.
yeah, obviously it was a huge shock to them. It's no news that a parent ever wants to hear.
Now, they were physicians, so they were one up on somebody like me, but even so, it had to be overwhelming. Is that where the inspiration for Riley's Army came?
Actually, no. The inspiration came from Riley herself. Yeah. So the meal train that Elizabeth was talking about, her mom, when we found out, came to us and said, I really want to help. I really want to bring people together and help you. Right? So my parents obviously wanted to be strong, didn't want to accept that. It was really hard, obviously. And after she had relapsed, they were like, yeah, like, please help us. Like, they were willing to get the help. And so we ended up having people bring, like she said, meals to us. We always had people with me and my siblings. Riley was never left alone in the hospital whatsoever. And, you know, we knew how blessed we were with the community around us. And Riley knew that as well. And so one day in the hospital, after a surgery, she was with my mom, and she heard this little baby boy crying in the room next to her. And he had no one there. He had, I think both of his parents had to work. And she just looked at my mom and said, why doesn't he have what we have? Like, why doesn't he have that support? So that's kind of where the idea came from. Everyone deserves an army to help them out. And so Riley, with the help of my parents, ended up founding this organization.
It's easy. And Elizabeth, again, you're kind of going through this at a young age as well, but your mom kind of stepped up. And you did too.
For me at that age, it was just going to hang out with my friend and to still be able to see her. And I was aware that it was, she was going through something difficult and that this wasn't something that any of my other friends or my classmates had experienced. But I didn't really understand kind of the magnitude of what was going on. I was just kind of happy to still be able to go play with my friend, and we still got to, there was a story my mom always tells me that she's receiving chemo and we're in the playroom playing limbo with her chemo line. And that story just kind of is how I remember Riley really well, because it never bothered her.
It's amazing. And the strength of kids, I keep saying this, I'm really blown away by how strong they really are. And then to have the insight that why is this little boy crying? So let's talk about that little boy and so many others. And that's what Riley's Army is all about. How many kids actually go through this? Are diagnosed with cancer annually? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so 1 in 285 children will be diagnosed with cancer before their 20th birthday. Just in Wake County alone, we have over 250,000 children under 18. So that's just one of the counties that we have out of 100. And we support children going through cancer at UNC and Duke, which is where a lot of them are sent to receive treatment. Every 3 minutes, somebody in the world will hear that their child has been diagnosed with cancer, something that no family or parent ever wants to hear.
You have all these kids that are being diagnosed. So clearly what started out as a small organization has had to grow. How big are you guys now?
The Raleigh chapter is up to 90 families right now helping out. And then the Greenville chapter has helped out over 500 families. So it's growing exponentially. We're trying to get as many people as possible. Obviously, we don't want anyone to come to us needing help, but
Right.
We're here to help as much as possible. So.
Well, we're going to get into all of the things you guys do in a little bit here and how we can help as well. So certainly appreciate the story and what you guys are doing, and we're going to come right back. I hope you will too. Stick around. Welcome back. We're highlighting Riley's Army and the many ways they provide support to kids with cancer and their families. And Jacy joins us now, along with Elizabeth. And Jacy, you're the director
Yes,
of Riley's Army.
I am. Thank you so much for having us. I'm the director for our Triangle chapter.
Okay, great. How'd you get involved in all of this?
So I started as an intern with Riley's Army in 2023, so about 3 years ago. And I happened to be in the right place at the right time where the Triangle chapter was really advancing and ready to hire a part-time staff person. So I happened to be in the right place at the right time and got in connection with them and just transitioned into the director role, kind of never left.
Well, I want to get into what you guys do. I know for someone in a hospital, you always want somebody there, and parents are overwhelmed and all of that. So for families who are watching this morning, can you just kind of give us a rundown of how do we get a hold of you, and what is it that I can get back from you guys in the way of support?
So we provide financial, social, emotional, and spiritual support. Riley was very strong in her faith, and that's kind of what led her to be so strong during her journey. So we do support our families by praying for them and pointing them towards spiritual resources. But other than that, we provide financial support directly to the family for their basic necessities. We pay this directly to the debtor to make sure that it's going towards their basic necessities such as rent, utilities, phone bills, those things. A lot of our families are having to take a step back from work, the parents, or having to leave a job, which creates some financial stress for them. And we really want them to be present with their families and focused on their child's treatment. Other than that, we have a family liaison who spends direct time supporting our families. She's just a phone call away. She's in our clinic. She's really a shoulder for our families to lean on.
What kind of feedback do you get back from the folks that you're helping? I mean, I can only imagine it's got to be a tremendous relief on one side.
Yes, they are so grateful, and they always express their appreciation. Something that we did this past year was we utilized Walmart.com grocery orders to send a Thanksgiving meal to all of our families in need. So they let us know if they were in need of a Thanksgiving meal, and we had wonderful feedback. Every single family, we were able to send 43 different meals out. So to 43 of our families for 10 people. So it was a total of 430 people we were able to provide a Thanksgiving meal. And every single one of them was so appreciative. We don't really think about, I have never been without a Thanksgiving meal. It's hard to comprehend for some people not having a Thanksgiving meal or a Christmas meal as just a part of, their growing up and their holiday traditions. So when we're able to provide that support and get positive feedback from them, we filmed a video a couple of weeks ago with Capital Production Group and featured one of our families that we're going to be showing at an event in a couple weeks. But that mother lost her job and she was commuting about an hour and a half for a stint of time every day to UNC Cancer Hospital to receive treatment. And so with that, she lost her job, and just in the video, she expressed how grateful that we were able to literally keep a roof over their head and lights on for her and her child and their family.
It seems like this is something that's much bigger than a family, even your own family. I mean, when you talk about that kind of an expense and the emotional and supportive needs these families have, what do you think is the most impactful? I don't know if that's a fair question or not, because everything means something, but what seems to really have an impact on these families with the services you offer?
I think it's dependent on the family and their needs. We really strive to give each family the individual support that they need. So how we support families looks different across every family because their needs are different. I think financially, they're always very, very grateful for the financial support, but it's not just about the finances. It's also about being there, having somebody to call, having somebody to come and sit with their child so they can go to the Ronald McDonald House and take a shower. I think that it means different things to different people and what their needs are at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you were talking about the spiritual need, and that really was very important to Riley. And not everybody's open to that possibly, but why is that important?
I think it's just for families knowing that they're not alone. Whatever support they need, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, that really guides them through their child's journey. We just want to support them and let them know that they're not alone. We do have family events for our families to come together so that they can make connections and be with people who are going through the similar things that they are in their family. We have a Facebook group. We do multiple events through the year at Christmas and summer, and just wanting to bring our families together.
So for the families that are watching, and if they're going through this, what can they expect from you?
So they, depending on where they are receiving treatment, will kind of depend on how they get registered with us as a family. So it's typically if they are going through the referral system and coming to us through that route, it will be through their medical social worker. So when a child is diagnosed, they're assigned a medical social worker to their case, and their social worker will inform them about our organization and then connect them with us. Families can also just go directly to our website. There's a sign-up form. There's a little button on the homepage where it says Become a Riley's Army Family. They'll fill us in some information. It will be emailed directly to our family liaison, and she'll give them a call and get them registered.
What you guys do is just awesome. And I know there are people watching who, well, how can I help? Which we'll answer when we come back. So stick around. And we're back with Riley's Army. And again, I'll just share my appreciation for what you're doing. Having kind of been there myself, I know how big a deal this is for the families, that what you guys do is really amazing. And I don't know how you do it. I'll just be honest with you, because there's a lot of moving parts here. Let's talk about these moving parts and how you manage to do this, and how can we all help make this happen?
Yeah, so we have 2 chapters. So our Greenville chapter serves families receiving treatment at Maynard Children's Hospital. So they have a director on staff that handles all of their program operations. They handle their fundraising, community involvement, things like that. And then their family liaison is the direct contact for those families receiving treatment in the Greenville area. Then we have myself as the program director here in the Triangle area, and we have a family liaison that handles the needs of families receiving treatment at UNC and Duke Children's Hospitals. So we run 4 annual fundraisers a year that are kind of our main ones, and we do other small stuff throughout the year as well. But at the end of February, we host a cooking competition event called Be Our Guest. We have 10 local chefs this year. It'll feature a silent auction selection, wine pool, and just some other smaller fundraisers throughout the evening. So this year's located in Market Hall in downtown Raleigh. So that's kind of our kickoff for the year. In July, we do an annual golf tournament called For the Kids, F-O-R-E, as a play on the word for in golf. So
Nice.
the For the Kids golf outing is the end of July at McGregor Downs Country Club in Cary. So that's one of our main fundraisers. And then September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So we have a lot going on in September to raise awareness and to raise funds for our local families. So we kick the month off with the Running with Riley's Army Triangle 5K. That has looked a little bit different over the years. We started with that as a virtual 5K when Riley's Army Triangle first became established in 2021. It was COVID, so we had to do our fundraising and community outreach virtually. So that was kind of our first big fundraiser. It's transitioned over the last couple of years. We partnered with Oak City Run Club last year to do some in-person running and raising awareness, and the participants bought gift cards, gas cards for our families. So that's typically, we kick that off in September. And then at the end of September, this past year was our first year doing it. We had an event called Camo for a Cause, and it's in honor of 2 boys, 2 brothers who both lost their lives to childhood cancer, Hill and Wright Lanier. So they were big hunters, and that's where the term Camo for a Cause came from. So it's similar to a Ducks Unlimited banquet. We had a live auctioneer. We were able to raise $96,000 in one night just with that one event last year. So that's one of our main fundraisers that we do annually now. And it's a fun evening. Like I said, live auction, also a silent auction. We did a seafood boil. It was a fun evening with the community.
All that info is on the website.
Yes.
As you plan out your schedule. But I mean, $96,000, it's a lot. But when you
amazing.
put it in the big scheme of things, I mean, there's a lot going on there. What about people, Ella? I mean, you guys, you help out in the hospital. You have folks that stay with, the sick child, for instance. I mean, do you need volunteers?
Yes, so we are still getting some volunteer programs established. Our family liaison is the only one that goes directly into the hospital, but we use volunteers at our family events throughout the year where we get our families together to come and meet each other and build that network of support. And then we also have volunteers at our fundraisers to help us operate our fundraisers successfully.
Well, I want the folks to understand just how important this is. I'm going to go to you, Ella. Would you mind sharing some stories of some of the folks that you've been involved with? I know obviously your sister went through this, so there's a personal thing there, and your family went through it. But I mean, how impactful is this for the folks? And maybe you can inspire us by a story.
Yeah, well, one thing that we don't like to say is like success stories versus, we think every family that we can help is a success story.
Yes, that's what I meant.
So
Yes.
yeah. One thing that we've seen is we've had a couple teens that we were able to help through their treatment, support them, and they went through their treatment and now they help out as well, they volunteer. And so I think that just kind of shows the community that we build here and wanting to help out as many people as possible.
Well, you continue to grow.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you continue to grow on one hand, but the fact that you have a lot of people who really have embraced this in a big way, and that's a great story where you have a couple of former patients now on board with all of this. For families, and I know we've mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again, who might need your help, the best way you suggest is what? Through the hospital itself or your website?
Through their medical social worker or directly through our website, whichever one they're most comfortable with.
And if somebody wants to enlist, be
Yes.
part of the Army, how do they do that?
Yes, also visit our website. It's rileysarmytriangle.com, or find any of our social media and reach out that way is Riley's Army Triangle.
How can the community get involved?
Yeah, there's many ways that they can get involved. They can attend any of our annual events, come support for a night. They can volunteer at any of these things, and they can also even be a monthly donor. Like just even a little bit of money every month goes a long way to support these families.
Yes, even just $5, $10 a month. Our gas cards and grocery cards that we provide are $25 monthly. So that's just a good number to have in mind, and that would provide a card for a family each month and help us provide some stability for them. You can find that at Riley'sArmyTriangle.com.
Perfect. Okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you for
you.
doing this. I appreciate it. And the show, too. Thank you for doing that. Otherwise, you'd have to listen to me talk, and that is boring. Thank you, too, for watching. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or you'd like to know more, visit our websites at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LuMaye, and thank you for watching Community Matters, and we'll see you next week.